What's going on, creators? Yeah, just want to get on here and bring everybody back to now. Appreciate y'all being here and vibing with me for a bit. Yeah, today I'd like to talk a little bit about abundance mindsets and not letting scarcity concerns from the world start to knock you out of that kind of state of consciousness. You know, it's important to hold abundance in the here and now, not living in this illusion of scarcity, mainly because you can verifiably disprove a lot of that programming as just being slave mindset programming, which puts people on pedestals and keeps people at lower levels of not only demonstration of abundance, but also kind of creating a caste system where you have and it's all kind of working together in this weird dynamic, you know. But the more that you are able to disregard a lot of what the world is hysterical about, the more that you can not only see creation for what it is, but then be very open to making moves and doing things of value to help others that that actually start to offset any type of fears of the economy, concerns of inflation. Oh, did you hear what the scarcity is next? Oh, did you hear what this next doom and gloom drama is? For everyone complaining and worrying and fretting about these problems, those are the opportunities to solve for creators that are ready to make some positive change in wherever they're finding themselves out. And so looking at every problem as a value that would be very obviously returned if you could solve that problem, because what I see in my area at least is kind of more and more improvements, you know, locally. As I've kind of been more engaged with my local community, I'm seeing a lot more people active, a lot more boomingness, you know, and looking at how metaphysically a lot of ways that we're all connected. And so as you embody a change in consciousness, you know, going from a scarcity mindset to like an abundance and prosperous kind of mindset, the more you start seeing that being reflected in not only like the people around you, but you know, in the larger community as a whole, because we're all connected. And as you are making positive I don't know, it just shifts in consciousness. It has an effect positively on people. And one of the things I hear a lot in my local area is just, did you hear what the gas price is at now? And oh, did you see what this next, we might be getting $12 eggs. It might cost $12 for a dozen eggs. It's like, you know, all of these kinds of inflationary concerns and worries, it's no different than the previous batch of matrix programming that got people into a hysteria about sickness and just, you know, that whole fucking drama that unfolded. But then, you know, it's immediately being, boom, very easily and predictably you know, for anybody that was just watching what was going on without that kind of hysteria, it's like looking at how much money and shit is being printed. Meanwhile, the world narrative seems to display a contrary, like it's like if you just have your own common sense that goes, oh, that's going to create a fucking problem. But then, you know, outside of yourself, you watch the news, and it's like they're not even talking about that, or they're fucking inverting it, or whatever, spinning a political narrative around it, blaming other people. You know, get out of that mindset of blaming and looking for outside people to save you. You know, it's on you to be the change, you know. And so as you be the change, then you do see those other people, because they kind of just start matching frequencies with you and are drawn to you on a subconscious level. And with that, you know, it's really promising news for people that really want to get shit done, you know, and you know, make a positive impact, you know, providing a lot of value. And you know, there's so much you can do. You know, there's this illusion of like this world narrative, and it's like you don't live in the world, you live in a fucking town or city or whatever. And it's like, what can you do? Or you know, if you're in a big city, it's like you have like a block where you like fucking spend the most of your time just in that part of town. Even, you know, it's just maybe just a building, you know, out of some, you know, everybody's all over the spectrum when it comes to these things. But the thing of it is, it's like, well, what can you do to improve just your space? you don't have to start changing the world. You can just start improving your own just house. Is your home in order? Is your fucking, energy in your house just feeling okay? Or is it just chaotic and fucking just shit everywhere and there's just behind on this and behind on that and, it's just out of order. So it's like, first step you can start to do, to having an abundance mindset is start getting your own house in order. Start taking care of the shit that's actually in your life to take care of, and start demonstrating more abundance with what you have. Because it's an illusion to project an imaginary future where you are abundant. It's like it doesn't really. It's all ratios. It's all extra zeros on like, you know bank account statements. It's like if you aren't practicing abundance with the small things, the big things are just going to just add more resistance and drama that will create more of a fucking burden and unconsciousness in the present moment. So looking towards what you have to steward, what you have to take care of, and starting to grow that is a great first step, because then you can start taking action steps to improve things. It's like if you want to start a business, for example, to create something for your community, get this illusion of well, I'm just doing it for me so I can just hoard a bunch of fucking cash and just like swim in it and shit. It's like, unless you're using it and putting it in motion, I don't think it's possible to just, because like just hoarding cash because of fear of the future and scarcity reasons is not what abundance really looks like. And so it's like, from my perspective, that looks more like not really caring, and not having a concern about it, not thinking about it, and like it's like I just have more than enough, and whatever is needed today be easily taken care of. It's like part of like this progression going forward is realizing more and more like how your state of mind on the inside, and whether you actually believe that or not, starts to have an impact on the situations of your life. It starts to reflect out like a big mirror. And the more that you're able to just let go of scarcity fear, the more you naturally just rise in abundance anyway. It's like you are already abundant without trying. It's all the programming that got instilled onto you, why you should pinch every penny, and like why every time you give you actually lose according to the world. But all of these things are stuff that you can start to let go of as you realize what you give to others, you give back to yourself. And so with your business, what you provide in service to others, it just naturally comes back to you in forms of that energy being returned, because what you're doing it to another, which is then amplifying what's going on within you. And the more that you believe that God's your provider anyway, the less that you have all these kinds of weird hangups about it. It's like when you realize it's like, oh, you can help more people, and if you're stewarding what you have, it's like if you just maybe just go to like a drive-through someday and just buy the person behind you's meal. What is it? Maybe $5-10. Well, I don't know anymore, with the prices of things. But even with that, it's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? All it means is you just have to figure out how to make more by providing more service. And so it's like, I feel like the idea of just constantly working for dead end like businesses that aren't part of like a value model, I don't feel like there's much, and I don't want to like curse any type of business. That it's all a part of creation for a reason. But there's a lot of scarcity-driven business models that are constantly trying to drive the price down as low as possible. It's like, oh, it's got to be as cheap as possible. So that means we got to pay these people as fucking small of a fucking bit of this as we can, so we can just get it out as cheap as possible. Because in a lot of ways, people want that. So that is fulfilling, and it's like unconsciously on some level that creates the demand for that service. But if you like ask somebody, it's like, hey, if you really realize that that came from like a slave in another country that maybe have been like like abused, and it's like all this shit just to get you this at a fucking cheap price, and maybe it was a child or something. Are you really that cool with that? Are you cool with investing with that type of a business? I mean, and spending your fucking hard-earned money to fucking supporting them? I mean, is that real? I mean, you're really into that? And it's like, I don't think a lot of people consciously think about like using money as a form of support. Even it's like, well, I hate this business, but I'm spending $300 a week in their fucking. It's like, well, you don't hate them that much, if you're spending $1,200 a month with them. I mean, that's like what, 15 grand a year. Oh, you really hate these people. It's like, but all of that has to do with starting to take personal responsibility of where you spend your time and attention, your energy in the form of cash. You can just start labeling these different things you're already doing. And part of that is just the spirit within you starts to mold your consciousness to, once you make the conscious choice to, I'm going to believe abundance is real because that's what God said is real. It's just a matter of faith. And it's like the more that you do that and stand in faith, the more that it plays out over and over again. And then you realize it's like this has been commonly known for a really long time. And people have demonstrated that this works over and over again. And then it's like, well, then you just naturally want to share it with people because it requires, it's just something inherent within you. And you're either cursing yourself or blessing yourself. And it's like so many people are unaware that they're cursing themselves every moment of the day just with their negative self-talk and just bullshit programming that is just creating a little mental prison and creating a small and smaller fucking world because they're just not facing fear. That's the thing that is really empowering to start to realize. It's like the more that you face fear, which is the way you grow your faith. It's like, and it gets to a tipping point where it's like you realize that the fear is an illusion, and that just like gets you to like almost like a knowing. And then when that starts to happen, then you're not walking around all day just worried and concerned all the time. It's just like becomes natural. It's just like, oh, this will just God will supply the customer. I just need to do my best to choose love and not just react out of fear. That's the only choice we ever have. And that's always being brought to you in the present moment. It's like, are you choosing to react to fear again and become hysterical and not be who you desire to be, and then unconsciously create more of what you don't want and continuously suffer in the present moment? Or do you want to start to stop doing that to yourself and start to live more consciously and choosing to face the fear, grow your faith, and just realize more and more so that what God said is true? And so now faith is, it's like you're already doing this, whether you're conscious or not of it. But now after hearing this, you might be more consciously aware of it, which hopefully starts to move you out of those programs of scarcity and more into abundance, more into prosperity, and start where you're at. That's where you can start, where you're at right now. The biggest thing you ever do is just make the choice to do it now. It's like, oh, I stopped doing. I fell asleep again. I started believing scarcity programming. It's like, oh, I just need to let that go and just choose to believe abundant thinking instead. And then can you do that for an hour today, 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, and then you just grow it. And it's just like, oh, I was only able to do it for 1 minute today. Hey, okay, you did it. You did 1 minute. That's better than you did yesterday, which was fucking no minute. Like the day before. So it's like, okay, that's some momentum. Let's don't fucking stress about it. What are you telling yourself now? I'm abundant. I'm this. I'm new. According to the Bible, you are a new creation. You gotta let the old programming go and experience who you actually are, which is not fear. And so, with that being said, I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing, all the social networking things, and I appreciate your spiritual support and your physical, financial support too. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Put it to good use. And till the next now, God bless.